What's up, guys? So pretty much, here's why I'm doing this. I'm on YouTube and I'm trying to look up online how to tune a coil liner. Because right now, I've got a Cheyenne Hawk. I rock rotaries. I love them. That's all I do. But I just got some tattoo supplies and they were for coils. So I figured I'd bust out one of these, Chinese coils and line them. And I mean tune them. I started out with these. I got pretty good at tuning them before I even tried rotaries, So the biggest problem was finding information online on how to do it. So I'm just going to break it down and show you how to do it. A lot of information and not a lot of BS. And one of my favorite channels had some guy that just talked so slow. It was driving me crazy. And I feel like I did a long enough intro. So let me just get started. First thing first, I'm tuning a liner. Remember that color packers and shaders, you gotta tune them different for coils. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing why I like rotaries better. These aren't any special types of coils. I got this one on Amazon. I think it's like under 10 bucks or something like that. These are just some regular coils. I think they're a 10 or a 12, something like that. I know I should probably know more, but alright, so first thing that I'm doing is I also got this little kit on Amazon. While setting up my camera, I dropped my phone, boom, everything went everywhere, so it's kind of a mess, but these little kits on Amazon are the best. They're really cheap. They have a lot of stuff in them. And what I suggest, you go to your smoke shop and buy a little, like a little scale that has a decimal point of 0.01, so it shows hundredths of a gram. The reason why, I don't know if you can see the numbers from up there, but I'm going to set it on a flat surface right here. I've got all my little different armature bars. This one is just for kicks. I bought this one to set up a color packer way back in the day because I wanted it to move heavy and slow. For a liner, what you want is a lighter armature bar so it can move faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weigh these out. This one's 1383. Make sure it goes back to 000. If not, I tear it and weigh it again. 1383. This one is usually they're about 13 grams. 1382. So I'm going to put this one under. I'm going to just kind of arrange them by weight. 1382 also. These two are even. This one. 1521. This one was the color packer one. I might set up a color packer later, and maybe I'll do a video. This is one that came with a Chinese machine. It's a different type of metal. These ones came with that. It's a better quality, but look, this one is 1374. Is this really 1374? 1367. Let me wait again, just to be sure. 1369. 1370. So here's the thing. I'm not going to explain why, but there's a lot of residue in this scale that kind of makes it a little bit stuck. So that's why it's given a little bit of off things. But it's about 1370, 1367, 1370, so it's under this. And let me weigh this one out. What is this one? 1326. Nice. 1327. So it's about this is 1326. This is by far by 0.6 grams less than all my other ones, so I'm going to use this one. I don't have a huge selection. These, I forgot the word for them. Like, your springs. These are your springs, right? Usually what you want, this is my little collection of springs. I got a heavy, thick one for my color packer that I was trying to do. Usually what you want is you don't want a long spring. You want kind of a springy one, not too thick. Because the liner, you want less resistance, and you want it to go very fast with less resistance. So you don't want it heavy and slow. So you want like bouncy spring that's thin, So this is one I was using. I like this one. Pretty much, you can take something like this, and it goes in the back, like right here, And then on the front is where the armature bar attaches, like this. And then on top of it, you would need a third piece, like, say, one of these. It would attach pretty much like armature bar. This is the back spring, and this is the front spring. Kind of like that. What I got here is a single spring piece where the back spring right here and the front spring are all together into one nice little piece. Let me make sure I have the right armature bar right here. This is 13, no, this is 1329. I really gotta wash all the residue off of this. 1330, well, either way, it's a lot less than those. This is a trick I learned on YouTube somewhere. Take a penny and you cut it in half. You can do that with scissors. And then take a nail, just a regular nail, and a hammer. Punch a hole through the half. And you want the hole to be big enough for one of these little screws that go in the back of the coil machine to be able to fit through this. And what the penny does is it kind of holds your back spring down. Instead of it just being held down by, say, a screw right here, instead of it being held down by a screw, it's going to be held down by a lot more body surface. It's going to hold down, instead of just holding down right where the screw touches, it's going to hold down like this whole part where the penny's going to touch. And what it does is it just kind of like adds more surface area resistance, or I don't know if that's even a term. It helps. It really helps. What I do is I turn it so, yeah, like this. You see? Just like that. And it pretty much makes it so the spring is springier. That's a good way of putting it. Spring is springier. I'm gonna put this on last real quick. Make sure this is the right one again. I just smoked right before in Las Vegas. Marijuana is legal. It's one of my favorite recreational activities to do before doing artistic stuff. A lot of these, when you get like a Chinese coil machine, a lot of these little screws will be plastic, you know, and will tear off. So one good thing about getting like a little kit like this from Amazon is they have little metal ones. You want to replace these little parts out. Just a little bit better quality stuff, you know. It just feels better too. So one thing that I used to make a mistake when tuning my coil machine is I used to tighten the hell out of it. You know, like if you're working on a car or something, you want your nuts, your bolts, everything to be tight. With a coil machine, yes, you want it tight, but you just want it to be tight enough to where it won't untwist by itself while the machine is running. Because if you make it too tight, everything just gets stuck in place. And the coil machine is actually supposed to have motion. It's supposed to have springiness and movement. And if you have everything just tightened down, the springs won't spring. They'll just be stuck in place, you know? You'll need so much more power and energy to just be able to even budge them. And you're gonna burn up your coils, and your machine won't be working very well. You want it to be, you know, tight enough to where it's not gonna come apart, but not so tight that it inhibits the movement. So if you're having trouble with your machine, try loosening it sometimes, you know? Learning to tune a coil machine is almost like an art form, because there are so many variables and so many moving parts. Like this could be tighter and this will affect this. There's so many variables, so many moving parts, and they're all interlocked to produce a single result. So there's not one, like what I notice is if my machine is, say, like working too slow, there's not one solution to it. There's probably a lot of different solutions to it. Because so many things affect the other. I could, you know, loosen one thing and it'll affect something else, or you could tighten something and it'll affect something a different way. By understanding how the machine works, you kind of generally get an idea of what things to fiddle around with, and it's kind of this fiddling around process until you get it right that helps you learn to tune it. And even still, it's just fiddling around for me, you know, because it's not like you know, press A or you know, put this part here and then all of a sudden it'll work. Like that's why these are kind of like an art form. That's why, you know, a single person making a handmade coil that's good at it will be able to sell them for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, you know? They're handmade. It's actually beautiful. Like, I think the lore and the skill set of coils is amazing and beautiful. Once I started shading with a rotary, I was in love. I don't know if I'm gonna go back. So I was setting this up to, I'm trying, you know, just have a little bit of fun lining this on some practice skin. And I figured, hey, since I got this coil stuff, why not see how a coil works? I haven't used it in a long time, you know? I got alright, enough of the Amazon plug, the unpaid Amazon plug, but I got this power supply on Amazon also for like 30-40 bucks. You know, I got a Cheyenne Hawk, like almost a $700 rotary, man, and it was like, I'm not paying $300 for a Cheyenne power supply when I got this one for 30 bucks. And the cool thing about it is, which is useless for a rotary, it says the cycles per second and the duty percentage. And I always wanted something like that for coils back when I was using them, because it helps me tune them better. It kind of like lets me know what I'm doing. Before then, I had to kind of just tune them by sound, which probably made me better, you know? Alright, so now that I'm done just rambling, let me show you what I was doing real quick. And effectively. For rotaries, for coils, you just pretty much need 3 Allen wrenches. 3 size Allen wrenches for almost all the work on it. Alright. So I tighten this, not too super tight. I aligned my armature bar and my springs. Whoa, I have another armature bar right here. Let me weigh this one real quick and see what I got. Maybe this one's even lighter. This one was 1327, right? What's this? No, 1496. 15. No, this one's a heavy one. That one's gonna be my shader, and that super big one's gonna be my color packer. You can also find this tool. I'm not sure. No, this tool doesn't come with this. It was only a few bucks though. What this is for holding your spring. What is it like? You have your spring and armature bar in place. You see your armature bar goes in here. It's for having your spring and armature bar completely straight when you tighten. Oh, that's right. So here's how it goes. Your spring goes up here. Right. I totally forgot how this works. You guys, it's been way too long. But yeah, this tool, I'm gonna show you those instructions. It's pretty much for holding your armature bar and your spring in place, so you can tighten them together, because you don't want them crooked, you know. The armature bar, this little nozzle right here, has to be completely in line with this hole, because the needle will be going straight through the hole from this. And this right here needs to be completely in line with the spring, because the spring is going to be touching it, otherwise the spring will bounce off. And so you want them to be completely straight in line. I kind of just like doing it by hand. If you need to move this, like, you can take it apart. I'm not going to get into taking everything apart and lining it all up and stuff. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, you know? You just fiddle around with it until it's all lined up. And now, some adjustments with the armature bar. You see this angle right here? Sometimes people will have it like straight up and down. You can do that. You can have it straight up and down. You can have it angled like this. Usually what I've heard for liners is just have like a 1 o'clock, like to be at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, like right there. No, not. But I mean, you can even have it a little bit more out like that if your armature bar is longer. If you want it, you don't usually want it too long. To have it too long is more for like shaders. I mean, to have it longer is more for like shaders. You kind of want it, let's see, what is it? what they say is dime liner nickel shader. Dime liner nickel shader. So pretty much when you press down on here, what's going on here? Oh, I see. This right here was actually a little bit too long and was going out through the armature bar and touching on the top of the coil. I'll get back to what I was saying. Yeah, you can fidget around with your spring. You can you generally want it just to be up a little bit, like at this angle, you know, not too far. You can cut it if you want. You can look online at pictures of liners and kind of judge how the spring is. What you can do is you can take some pliers and bend it a little bit. If you want it to bend it up, bend it down if you need to bend it down. You can cut it if you need it shorter. You can do a lot of things just to make it right. Like I said, these are beautiful because you can fidget around with them. This connection right here and this connection right here, if I make them way too tight, it's usually this connection, I mean, if I make it way too tight, this one right here, that it won't budge because this is holding the spring down, and if it completely locks it down, it won't go up or down, you know? You want it to have a little bit of springiness. And if you don't have enough springiness, what you can do is you can pull it out like this and kind of bend it up. Bend it upwards if you want it to be bent upwards, or you can bend it downwards a little bit. If you bend it downwards, it doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much, and it affects it a lot. Alright, so what I was trying to say earlier about dime liner, nickel shader, dime and line is that's how I remember it. What you want is you want to kind of have these first, have this tight, have this lined up. Okay. Now that's all lined up. What I want is I want about a dime's width, the width of a dime between this top coil and this armature bar. And then I also want, when I pull this down, when it's flush against the coil, I also want about the width of a dime between this nail and the top spring. So then I don't, you don't have to look at it like that's just a guideline, really, because you kind of start there and then you fine tune it, and when you're done fine tuning it, it might not be exactly dime or whatever. For a shader, you'd have like a nickel, which would be a bit thicker, a nickel's width between them both. So now that I've got it kind of set up like this, what I like to do is I like to have this I want to set up this angle, and I'm going to tighten this down so it won't spin around anymore. The only thing that I want variable now is being able to twist the contact screw. I just want to be able to twist the contact screw in and out, up and down. If I twist it out, it doesn't touch this anymore. If I twist it in, I can twist it all the way down. So now I'm gonna plug my machine in. I'm not sure if this is superstition or something. I don't know, but what I like to do is I feel like one side works better, so I tape the side that I like having touching the top spring, the top screw. I don't know why, but like flipping it upside down, it still works, right? But I feel like it works better the other way. Alright, so I'm starting out at 7 volts, and I'm turning it on, and what I'm doing is pretty much I untwist, and I'm twisting down. That's much too much. Now, because I have this power supply, what I can do is I know you can't see the numbers from there, but I'll read them off to you real quick. Right here, it's saying 115 cycles per second, 43% duty. The goal we're trying to reach for is something between 45 to 55% duty and about 120 cycles per second. So we're almost there. There we go. 118 cycles per second, 46% duty. That looks good. Alright, I'm gonna twist this down to tighten it right in there. Okay, I'm not gonna tighten it too much because the moment of testing is coming. Now, one thing I always hated about coils was when I've tuned it like this, sometimes I'll be like, all right, cool, it's good. And then when I add the needle, the extra weight, it needs a little bit more fine tuning with the needle on. You know, this is just the first form. When you add the needle, it becomes the final form. And sometimes the final form sucks, even though the first form was awesome. So yeah. I've added the needle, now let's see how it changed. You hear the difference? Let me mess around with it a little bit. It went to 97 cycles per second at 45% duty. And if I need to, I might actually change the angle of it a little bit. Let's see. That's not sounding good. I don't like that. Let's see. Alright, we're at 100 cycles per second, 50% duty. Let me switch these because I remember I like the tape to be on top. I don't know why I did it the other way. Alright, 100 CPS, 48% duty. That's 100 CPS, 39% duty. Alright, we're gonna have to change something else. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try loosening this a little bit. And moving. I'm gonna try loosening up the penny a little. And twisting it a little bit. There we go. Lining it up a little bit better, and just having a little bit looser. Let's see if it gets a little bit bouncier now. Let's move this one up. Still at we're getting about 45% duty, 100 cycles per second. This is the lightest armature bar I can find. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the springiness. And I might cut this right here. I'm going to cut this bar. I didn't manage to cut it, I just managed to bend it. Oh well. Let's see how that affects it. Alright. Let's see. Okay, so that's more than a dime. We need it to be a little bit lower. So if we need it to be a little bit lower, I gotta turn it, bend it down. There we go, that's about a dime. Okay. Turn it on. We're at 7.5 volts. And tap this again. Alright. Okay, we're getting at 105 cycles per second with 37% duty. That sounds pretty good, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually try playing around with these different armature bars. I'm gonna pause the video just for a minute. Here we go, guys. So, here we have it. Finally, after some fidgeting, 119 CPS, 48% duty, 7.4 volts. Let's see if we can crank that down. Right at 7 volts, 115 CPS, 42% duty. This is just a few dollar, tattoo machine with just regular parts. I'm running a 9-round shader right now, just like that. A 9-round shader. Look at these numbers, guys. That's beautiful. So pretty much what I did was I took this. I'll show you. This is the one I had on earlier. Tear. This is the springs I had on earlier. They're at 1.75. And I switched it for something like this. I'll show you. For one like that. And then a smaller, shorter front spring. Now, that thing with the penny that I said earlier was something that I had seen on a YouTube video and I had been doing my whole tattoo career. But I just found out by testing the numbers that it actually inhibits the liner. It messes with the spring. So I had to take it off. My bad for giving bad advice. Don't listen to it. The penny is bad. These are beautiful numbers. This is how to do it. This is all the measurements and everything. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments. I mean, nobody watches my videos anyways, Take care. I hope this was informative. This is what I would love to see myself on YouTube. Peace.